Hello, everybody. I'm Jamie. This is my co-host Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hello.
Hey. So we're the Niner Faithful Radio team. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our shows. Check out our website, ninerfaithfulradio.com, and check out our shop to support us, ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop. So how are you doing today, Jason?
Another actual sunny day up here in the Pacific Northwest, behind enemy
Yeah.
lines up here.
Yeah, it's gotten warm over here too. But I'm in Cali, so it's always nice weather for the most
Yeah,
part.
it's about, I think today is like the first time this year it's gotten above 60 here.
Oh wow,
So it's actually,
I,
it's like shorts are on, everything else. It's like, oh, it's so nice finally.
that's nice. That's awesome. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about some draft stuff. We talk about positions we think we should address in the draft. Jason has some players he thinks we should target in the
Hmm.
draft for at different positions, and yeah, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So this will be a kind of heavier draft show. So if you're interested in that, please stick around because the draft is right around the corner. So we're gonna try to do some of these kind of shows just so we can get some information out there and hear feedback from you guys. So
Yep.
yeah.
I even doing, like I said, when I was talking to you earlier about it, I was, because with you losing power and everything, I was going to do it by myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I was, we've beaten the quarterback position to death at this point, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. Whenever you turn on anything on YouTube, NFL Network, anything Niners related, it's just quarterback. Who are we
Yeah.
gonna do? Who's Jimmy gonna go away? It's gonna be Mac Jones and Justin Fields, blah blah blah. It's like, so I want to do something a little different. See if
Mm-hmm.
we can get some other information out there that just because I'm tired of talking about quarterbacks right now.
I don't blame you. I'm tired of hearing other people talking about quarterbacks.
It's like we're all saying the same things over and over and over again. It's just like, okay, I just want this. Can it be April 29th already? I'm done.
I
So,
know. I
and it's
know.
only been 2 weeks since we made the
The trade.
trade. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like we have beaten this to a bloody pulp over and over.
We really have. If you turn on any other 49er YouTube channel, any podcast, any like ESPN, whatever, the Niners are brought up is pretty much about quarterbacks. So
Yeah, that is
yeah, so,
right, nitty gritty. 3 more long weeks until we
yeah.
get.
So just hang in there, everybody. Just hang in there for 3 more weeks. And then we should be
I was
yeah.
excited because
Oh,
I thought at first it was gonna be like Christmas. I was
I
like, yeah,
know.
we're all gonna be excited for Christmas, and already I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to
Yep.
move on to something else.
We have a comment from one of our guests from a couple weeks ago, last week or the week before. Nitty Gritty Niners. Go subscribe to them. They're an awesome YouTube channel. So hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hey,
Thanks.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
He
it's
also
definitely the
says
biggest decision.
yes, for sure. This will be Shanahan and Lynch have made a lot of big decisions. But this will definitely be what they're going to be known for moving on for like the rest of their tenure here. It's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see what they decide to do. But
All right.
you ready
You
to
said
get
we
into
wanted to
it?
be quarterback, so let's move on.
Let's go. Let's go.
um, it's like something else.
I know.
Um, One of my biggest, well, not mine, but most people agree, one of our biggest issues that we need to get is we need to get some cornerbacks into the
Mm-hmm.
draft. Obviously, at number three, when we were at number 12, I really thought we were going to pick a cornerback up. We pretty much were almost had the choice of who we wanted between Surtain, Farley, and Horn at number 12.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was easily going to fall to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen now that we're not, unless we trade back up into it. But obviously,
Yeah.
that position's gone. So the earliest we're doing, second round or whatever for them. One of the guys I got, and I know a lot of people are big on, is Asante Samuels from FSU.
Okay.
Um, he's probably one of the smoother players. It's like, not going to say he doesn't do anything flashy, but he does everything really good. and spotlight doesn't seem to affect him. He'll take the other team's top receiver, shut him down, all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, he's one of the top ones. On the second, the B tier, if you will, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked too much into this stuff yet. I just haven't had a chance, but this is definitely a position that's been up there on mine. I know originally O-line was up there, but I think in free agency, I think we're in pretty good shape of that right now. Mm-hmm. So I think cornerbacks, just for depth and stuff, and having backups, because while I love Jason Verrett, he has been injured a lot in the past, so it would be good to have somebody who's reliable that we can have fill in if need be, and stuff. And losing Sherman I think it's going to be a bigger deal, like with his mental aspect of the game. Like Sherman is really good at like dissecting plays so that the offense is going to run and stuff, and whatnot. So like this is definitely one position I think they really need to address, whether it's early in the draft, like in the second or third round, or later if somebody like C falls. But yeah.
A couple other guys I got on there are both the cornerbacks coming out of Central Florida. You got Robinson and Goen. And the reason why I put both of them up there together is because they both would feel a need. Goen is the bigger of the two. We've got some big receivers in our division right now with Metcalf. We got Hopkins in there now. There's some big boys in the cover. Goins is the bigger one. He can easily cover those guys a lot easier. And then you can also with Robinson, he's more of a slot. Now we do have Mosley for slot, but I mean, we always use more top tier cornerbacks. So I mean, one or either of them would also be good picks up in the later rounds. So there's a couple more guys I got on there. The last guy I got is, I always butcher this guy's name, Iafeatu from Illinois. His brother is actually the safety in our team, Obi. Why can't he have a good, easy name like that?
Okay.
But he's also another guy. He has a very he's built a lot like Sherman and has that same kind of mentality. So, another good fit, long term.
Yeah.
He would definitely Wayne. He would be a later third, maybe early fourth round draft pick for that guy.
And you guys think there'd be a good scheme fit? Like, would they fit the defense? That's awesome. Because, I know that you shouldn't heavily rely on that, but I do think it is a good fit if they fit this game and run something at least similar. Yeah.
Everybody says that, for the most part, it is kind of plug and play, but some guys are, Sherm isn't the greatest, one-on-one player, but you put him in zone and that's where he's comfortable with, because that lets him read and he can break on plays because he's got those long arms and that long body. Some guys want to play up close and, just press you the whole time. That's where they're good at. So scheme does, some guys can play both ways, but sometimes, guys do excel at one way or the other.
Yeah, for sure. So is that all for cornerbacks or anything, or do you have anybody else?
That's all I wrote down for now. Like I said, I got a few third positions here and there.
Okay.
We can move to safety because I think another, we do need a need for safety. We got Hart and Ward, but they're constantly being hurt, especially Ward. Both of them are amazing when they're kind of like with Jimmy. We win when they're back there playing and they're good, but they do tend to get hurt. And with the Wilson pickup, I think he's a good vet presence, but we definitely should probably look for somebody younger. One of the guys I got, and I love the way he plays, is Jacoby Stevenson's out of LSU. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. He is just a big dude, especially for a safety. But as much of a safety at that size, he is a ball hawk. He's all over the field. He covers everybody. So there's that one. And the other one I got is Fuhanga from USC, another big hitter.
Okay.
To me, he reminds me a lot of like Jamal Adams from the Seahawks. Can play down close to the line. He's gonna make a lot of disruptive plays close to, not always in the back, getting interceptions and stuff like that, but he, will blitz him, use him to blow up plays before they develop, especially with like screens and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Like I I think this season's going to be a lot of, because last season was really a test of our depth positions because we had a lot of injuries last year, like a lot of people know. So I think they're gonna try to do their best because we didn't have a lot of draft picks last year, so we didn't get the chance to fill in a lot of younger players as much as we're used to. Because like what we did in 2017 and 2018 is we filled in, and like 2019 is like we filled in a lot of younger players, but last year we really didn't get that chance to. So I think this draft would be a smart move for them to like try to find some hidden gems in like the later rounds, because that's where they're decent there. Like they found Fred Warner there. They found like a lot of Kittle.
They're good in later rounds.
They are.
And this is a deep draft. Like I don't think it's necessarily top heavy with like superstars per se, but I think there's a lot of guys in this draft that are going to be playing a long time in this league, simply because they're going to fit roles and be really good at those roles. Like I said, maybe not necessarily a lot of all pros, first team, this and that, but I think you can get a lot of guys who are going to be around the league for 8-10 years just because they're good, solid players.
And that's great. That's awesome. So is that all for safeties? You have more for safeties?
Those are the two ones that I pointed out. Like I said, I pretty much got like two for every role kind of thing.
Okay, what's your next position?
D-line.
D-line. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so while I think we're set up for starters, we definitely need more rotational pieces and some depth.
Okay.
So for the inside guys, two guys that I like are Bobby Brown III and then TJ Slaton. Bobby's from Texas A&M and Slaton is from Florida. What I like about these two guys is that they're young and they're just big. One's 335, the other one's like 350. Both of them are like 6'3", 6'4". I like my interior linemen just to be bulky and take up space. Let the linebackers and everybody else make the plays. Just take up space. Don't get moved. Stay low. Keep your ground and just push back when you can. And those two guys, and with Slaton, he actually has a very quick first step for a man that size. As far as I know, I think he's the biggest player in the draft. But watching him, I watched a bunch of his film this morning. At lunch. Or my break at work, and I know he's got a very quick step for a man that size. You don't see many interior linemen with that size that can move with that first quick step.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's what this defense has excelled on, is having really good starters on the D line and having good rotational players to fill in, so that way nobody gets too fatigued, and the rotational players are good and can fill in some really good plays while the starters were resting. And like that's how we did so well in 2019, is our D-line was crushing it for most of the year. So
even last year, as depleted as it was with no Solly, no Bosa, they were still getting after people. The sacks weren't necessarily there, but they had quite a bit of pressure, especially Kinlaw towards the end of the season. He came on, he was beasting it towards the end.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Kinlaw to see him this season and see how he progressed.
Have you seen his videos of him working out?
No, I haven't actually.
He is getting ridiculously big.
Oh shoot!
I'm not sure how much weight he's put on, but he looks much bigger this offseason. Like he was in there flexing with no shirt on, and I was like, "Damn, he's getting big."
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean, like you said, bigger D line, take up space, especially in the interior. It'd be great. Yeah.
The Haas is holding the line right there.
Yep.
A couple of guys I like on the outside is Chauncey Golston from Iowa. I know a lot of people are high on him. He's long. He's like 6'5". I think he's 6'5", weighs about 265-ish or so. So he's got that long, quick body, got the long arms, bat down balls, reach out to people. And on the same way with that, Jordan Smith from UAB is 6'7", and he's got a wingspan of he was like 91 or 90, 91. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, you're not going to run away from him because he's just going to reach out his hand and grab you. It's just, from like one side of the line to the other, he's just going to extend his arm and grab you. Malcolm Koonce is another good one. Yep, so I've seen him too. But yeah, like I said, with you know, for me, I want my guys on the edge to be longer so that, you know,
Hmm.
people don't get away from it. You know, they wrap up, get away, you know, bat those balls down.
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. I mean that's some like anybody who can come in and fill in while Nick Bosa gets off the field for a minute, especially after his injury, because we don't know how Nick Bosa is going to come back. I mean,
Mhm.
he has all the resources to come back and be as good as he can get, but we
Mhm.
don't know. We don't know how explosive he's going to be, how his knee's going to hold up, especially after
He's
playing.
another one. He's had injuries in his life.
Yeah. So I mean, it's always smart. It's always smart. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else that? Another one I was looking at was wide receivers.
Okay.
Um, Simi Fihoko from Stanford.
Hmm.
Definitely another name I know I butchered. He's another big body, big red zone target that we need. That, you know, especially since we lost Kendrick, we need
Hmm.
someone, you know, deep in the red zone, tall, can reach up there and grab ball. You know, grab those
Hmm.
corner balls and stuff like that. Um, Kadarius Tonley from Florida uh,
Hmm.
gets overshadowed because of Pitts. But when you look
Hmm.
at him, watch him run, we can just add him to the Yak family. He's had like almost 40 broken tackles over the last 2 years. You
Hmm.
know, so I mean, if that's one of the things that they want to build on and keep going with, as far as, you know, guys breaking tackles and all his yards after the catches, he's a perfect fit for for that position. You know, so like I said, you just join the Yak family and be part of it again. So
For real. I mean, that he sounds like he'd fit in perfectly. Like with Kittle, Debo, Brandon, like just add like because that's where they're really good at those play good at yards after the catch.
yeah,
So yeah.
and like I said, especially, you know, with the offense, you know, for the most part, what you want to do is get him in stride. And, you know,
Hmm.
one of the things that Jimmy does do good, you know, not go deep, but what he
Hmm.
does do good is hit guys in stride, and, you know, he lets his players make the plays.
Hmm.
You know, like that's one thing he has done consistently good, is that with his quick release, he can get the ball out, get it to these guys, and let them make the plays. You
Hmm.
know, let let the positional guys go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, I had offensive line. Well, our
Okay.
starters are definitely pretty much set, I think, for the most part, unless, you know, depending on who we pick up here in the draft and possible free agency from here and there. But I do think we need to get a little bit younger in
Hmm.
some of the spots. That way, you know, when Trent Williams decides to retire, whether we move on from Glynchy and whatnot,
Hmm.
we need to have plans in place for those guys. Um, one of the big ones is Kendrick Green from Illinois. Everybody seems to think he is going to be, again, one of those long-term players in the NFL. He does a lot of, he's quick, he can move, you know, he does a lot of pulling, schemes a lot like ours. So
Okay.
same thing. Um, Another guy I got is Brady Christensen out of
Hmm.
BYU. Everybody
Okay.
knows Zach Wilson. Well, this is the guy that's been blocking, keeping his backside clean for the last couple of years. Again, he's a tackle that pulls really well.
Oh, okay.
You know, they pulled him around with screens and this and that, or just, you know, tackle out and stuff like that. And he's always there. He's quick. He's getting to the point, you know, blocking for everybody. So like I said, those are two guys that I specifically was looking at for, you
So
know.
you're looking specifically at tackles?
No, you can. Well, Green's a guard,
Great. Okay.
but I mean, you can go for centers. One of the darlings of the draft is Creed Murphy from Oklahoma. He's one, and then there's Quinn Martinez from Wisconsin, Whitewater, I believe is what it is. A lot of people have been pretty high on him as well. So I
Okay.
mean, like I said, it just goes back to the whole. It's a deep, good draft for those positions. We could draft these guys third, fourth, fifth round, and they'll, you know, we can slot them in a year or so.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Lynchy, we don't know what's going to happen with his contract after next season.
Hmm.
You know, Trent, 2 years, three's top. Alex Jones, I mean, drafting a center wouldn't be bad. Alex, you know, Mack was a great Jones or a great center for how many years? You know,
Hmm.
let somebody sit behind him for a year or two and learn. You
Yeah.
know, something like we do with other positions. Just let them sit there and then, you know, learn a position from somebody and then take over after them.
I mean, that's ideal scenario is like not rushing your rookie players in right away and letting them learn the playbook, learn techniques from the veterans who are in front of them. Like that's why that's something I'm very high on because I think it really benefits the players coming in because they don't feel that immediate pressure to like perform right away. Because I think sometimes that's just like too much overwhelming a little bit, and it like pushes them back. It pushes their progression back because like they try so hard, but they don't like, especially with Kyle's game because like Kyle's scheme is super complicated. So especially like for letting an rookie O lineman come in and just learn the playbook and not have to be forced in, bearing no injuries and all that jazz.
Yeah, definitely.
And stuff. I like that idea a lot.
And like I said, you got at least, especially with Mac and Trent. I mean, if we get two guys and sit behind them for a couple of years, let them, still play at a high level and just, learn from those two guys, especially, you'll be set. There's some guys who, that are better than them. Just let them sit and learn. I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
That was all the notes I had. Like I said, that's about as far as I got when I got home and started making notes for everything.
No, I mean, that's great. Like I said earlier, I haven't gone too deep into it, so it's great to hear from you and hear some guys who you've heard about from other people or somebody you just picked up and saw on film or whatever. Because I think those are positions that I think they'll definitely try to look at in the draft. Like, I'd be really surprised if they don't draft a cornerback. I'd be really surprised if they don't draft an O-lineman. Like, a wide receiver, it's tricky because we lost Kendrick Bourne, and Kendrick Bourne was our red zone target.
Yeah.
Because he was so good at catching in the end zone. So I could see them definitely targeting them, but I also could see them being like, you know what? And with Debo's injury. So, yeah, I could see them getting a wide receiver.
And who knows what in the world's going to go on with Jalen Hurd? Is he going to be with?
I know.
Like, does he even play? Is he going to, is he healthy?
He's had the worst luck. He's had the worst luck.
Yeah, 2 years in a row, season-ending injuries. It's funny because, he has back, it's been his back.
Yeah.
Who else has back injuries? Dee Ford. Back injuries are no joke. They take a long time. I pulled my back once, and it took me like months to finally get over it. So back injuries they're one of the hardest things to come back from.
Because they linger, probably. That's the problem. And the sport is so physical. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like they can't play. Like otherwise they'll get really seriously hurt. Like
that's why a lot of guys just straight up retire when they get a back injury. They just
I know.
You can't lean forward. You're never comfortable no matter what you do. So I mean, it makes it for the month or two that when mine was bad, I couldn't imagine living like that. After playing the game, I barely, I was whining after like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I hope the best for Jalen Hurd. I would love to see him play because like the little bit we did see of him in those preseason games was really cool. Yeah, it would be awesome. But if he can't play, then he can't play. Like he shouldn't. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just not. It's going to be his decision whether he feels like he can play or not, and the doctors clear him. So we'll see. Because he'd be awesome, but So, you have anything else?
Shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Fuck it. Late round quarterbacks. We have to. What else we can talk about? We're Niner fans. This is all we can talk about.
For real.
I think most of you guys know that I am fully on board with the Trey Lance. I think he is. I think he's everything the system needs. As good as I think Justin Fields is, I think the ceiling especially for Trey Lance is even higher, personally. I haven't been able to confirm it, but I saw one report where it said that he graduated both high school and college early. I'm like, what more do you want from your quarterback?
Jeez. If that's
You
the
know,
case, that means he's super smart, which would be
yeah,
awesome. Because you kind, especially in this offense, being able to run it, that'd be awesome. Um,
and one thing that he does have above all the rest, every other of the top quarterbacks is he called his own audibles. He didn't, even like if you watch film with the Fields and stuff like that, he didn't call his own audibles. He looked at the sideline to get that. And he
mm,
also called his own pass protections. So I mean, it's just like he's got the brain to absorb everything that with as crazy and wild as Shanahan's this offense is. The more I read, the more I like it.
okay.
But
Well, this is the only position that I've seen a little bit of film on, and it's not really. I wouldn't even really consider it film. It's the pro days. I've watched Zach Wilson's pro day, Justin Fields' pro day, the highlights, and a little bit of Trevor Lawrence, just in case something crazy happens, and stuff. I haven't looked at Trey Lance, 'cause I didn't really look at it too much, but I really liked Justin Fields' pro day. He looked very calm. I liked his demeanor when he was throwing. Like, he was calm, which was good. And so I think that's something important, to be able to keep your composure when you're playing. Him and Zach Wilson can make those deep throws that 49er fans have been begging for like ever. Those deep passes. And I think he'd be a good fit too. But I also haven't looked at Trey Lance. My only issue with Trey Lance is he hasn't played as much as Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. So that's my only worry about Trey Lance. But Trey Lance would be great, because if we what it seems like we're keeping Jimmy, Trey Lance sounds like he's the kind of player who would need to sit for a little bit to learn and get used to the playbook and to get used to the NFL. And if that's the case, then I'm all for it. And he can run. I know he's run. I've seen one highlight reel of him.
yeah, he can run.
Yeah. So I'm okay with either of those guys, Justin Fields or Trey Lance, because it looks like the Jets are officially taking a quarterback at 2. That is probably going to be Zach Wilson. So unless Jags take Justin Fields number 1 and then Jets take Trevor,
I don't see them taking anybody but Trevor Lawrence number 1.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but I'm just saying, I remember the Baker Mayfield draft when everybody didn't think he was going to be the first one.
You think it's going to be crazy if we pick up McCorkle Jones? It'll be worse if the Jags pick up somebody other than Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, you think they're going to be crazy? This fan base would be nuts if we pick up Mac Jones. Jaguars would be
I know.
crazy if they pick anybody but Trevor Lawrence.
I know. I mean, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
But Urban Meyer was an Ohio State coach, so I mean, let him know 2 national championships. So
I mean, that's the only reason I even thought about it, is that Ohio State connection. But I honestly think it's going to be Lawrence, Wilson, Field, or Lance. I think.
Yeah.
I could see that. That's the most likely scenario. About Mac Jones, I feel more comfortable if we were still at 12 and we picked up Mac Jones. I feel like that would be better. I think that's the main issue with the fan base, is that we traded up to 3. I think getting Mac Jones at 3 at that spot would have been giving up too much for him. But this is also
basically a clone of Jimmy, and people don't want. Even though we win with Jimmy, people don't want Jimmy. Everybody has to have the dual quarterback, and they say Jones can't run, and this is well, he's not the fastest guy in the world. I mean, we've all seen him shirtless, and he looks like any other dad bod, the dad bod thing going on. But if you watch his feet in the pocket, his feet are always moving. He's got good pocket presence, and I mean, he's faster than Jimmy. I understand that's a low bar to get over, but like I said, if his base is Jimmy and he can stay healthy, why not?
I don't know. I mean, the wild card is this is Kyle Shanahan's first opportunity to pick the player that he wants. Like he's always either inherited a quarterback or like lucked out like with getting Jimmy like in that trade. So
his dad drafted RG3 when he was the offensive coordinator for Washington.
Yeah.
Look how good. I mean, before he got hurt in the playoffs, I mean, RG3 had like the most yards at for a rookie quarterback, most touchdowns, and he didn't even know how to really utilize a dual threat quarterback like RG3. He had to go out. He spent like that summer after the draft going around to other coaches and picking their brains to figure out how he could implement that style of play into his offense. So I mean, he's good at picking up what somebody's good with and bringing it over, even if it's not necessarily what he wants to run.
Yeah,
he's come out and said he didn't want RG3. That was what's his name? This Snyder. That was more of a his pick than it was the Shanahan's.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see who Kyle wants because I feel like that's going to be more on Kyle than John. I feel like because this is going to be Kyle's future quarterback for the team. So it's just going to be interesting. I can't wait for the draft because I just want to know who we're picking so that we can just like go over that now instead of speculating because it's
stop fighting. Everybody it's like four corners, yet, the people who want Fields in one corner, then there's a Trey Lance corner, the Mac Jones corner, and, just like, calm down. How come nobody's in the Kellen Mond corner? That's the guy that was my draft crush earlier.
Who?
Kellen Mond, quarterback from Texas A&M.
Oh, okay.
He's about the closest thing this draft has to like a Kaepernick, basically, with the way he plays. He's another one that would definitely have to sit and learn for a year or so. But like I said, he was my long-term plan when I first started looking at draft stuff at 12. Like we could have got him in a second, possibly, because he's going to get drafted high because he's got the potential. But the value on quarterbacks, you always overdraft them because everybody wants the next best one. So
yeah, I mean, my thing. I will say this one thing. And I do agree with this. I do think since there's been so much talk from like journalists and reporters that we are going to be taking Jones at 3, so I do think it's a little bit of a smoke screen. I don't know. Like, and also I saw a tweet. I forgot who it was from. Basically saying like the 49ers haven't really leaked anything like since John and Kyle have taken over. So like anything like that they don't want to get out, like I just don't see them saying who they're taking at 3, like just to anybody right now.
Yeah, I
think like they don't need to hide the leverage, but it's like I don't know. I just don't see that happening. Then like
because a lot of it came from Sims with CBS, whatever their morning show is, their sportscast show. And a lot of it coming from him, and it's not a secret. Him and Shanahan are like best buds.
Yeah.
And are the two of these, Shanahan saying, "Hey man, can you say this for me? Build up Mac Jones. Maybe somebody will overdraft him. Do something stupid, and I can come in. Maybe the Jets pick up Mac Jones at 2, and that leaves us Zach Wilson, or maybe something crazy like that. I mean, who knows? I think like I said, I think it's a lot of smoke.
Yeah, I also saw a tweet that Adam Schefter said that he wouldn't be surprised if we took Mac Jones at 3. That's from Schefter. I saw that today.
I saw that one too. I think at this point, it's one of those things. It's like it's a rumor that's come to reality at this point. It's just there's so much out there pointing in one direction. It almost seems true.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it's all just smoke and mirrors or something. Like I said, I wouldn't be upset with Jones as much as, I don't know, most of the fan base is.
I just think that Fields and Lance have more potential than Jones, and I feel like they're more athletic, and I think that's something that has been missing. Because like Jimmy's a good athlete, but he's not like what Colin Kaepernick was. Colin Kaepernick was like athletic as hell. Like I still remember that Green Bay game. It was insanity.
He's no Wilson. He's no Tyler Murray. Kyler Murray. You look at the other quarterbacks in the division. Well, no, Stafford.
And I think after dealing with those kind of guys in our division for so long, I think it's about time we get one of our own to even it, which is why I'm more on that side. But I'm not going to be as upset as some people would be if we drafted Mac Jones. I just still think it's a smokescreen right now.
Yeah.
So,
he's not the sexy
Quinnen Williams stuff when it was Quinnen Williams and Nick Bosa in 2019. Yeah.
2 weeks before the draft, they were out having dinner with him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, we got.
Yeah.
But I also think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we thought the Cardinals were going to take Bosa and not Murray, because Murray was projected to go a little bit lower, and we ended up they grabbed him so we can promote Bosa. So
and wasn't Murray still debating whether to go to baseball or football? Wasn't that a thing?
No, I think by the draft he'd already determined that he was going to go full football.
Football. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was one. I think pretty much by the combine time he had decided that he was just going to concentrate on nothing with football.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that. But because that's literally the only reason why we were able to get Bosa. Because I think if it was any other team up there who, especially if they didn't really needed a quarterback, we wouldn't have gotten Bosa. Yeah. So, and we probably would have had Quinnen Williams. But, hey, it is what it is. We'll just see who they decide to draft. Hang in there, guys, for a few more weeks of all this quarterback talk. Once the draft is done and we have our guy, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about him. It'll be obviously official and stuff. So that'll be
like I said, nice. We can cover the film that we've already combed over.
Yeah, I know. I'm still hoping against hope that we end up with Zach Wilson, because his throws were insanity. And I was really I feel like he'd be a really good fit. I know him and Fields they can do a lot of the similar things, but I know that the Jets are going to take him. So,
if I had to choose between Wilson and Fields, I'd take Fields.
Oh, okay.
Just because he's a bit more obvious, a lot more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Wilson isn't, but his speed, especially when running the ball, I would take that, because I think they're pretty comparable when it comes to passing.
Mm-hmm.
But Wilson or Fields and his legs is miles ahead of Wilson.
I mean, that is true. That is something that's really nice, is when your quarterback can do those escape runs and get some yards.
Like I said, Wilson can scramble, but he's not a running quarterback per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I don't know what more we can really say. I mean, I feel like I repeat myself every week, but just.
And we'll probably we'll repeat it again until the draft. It's going to be the same stuff over.
Yeah. It'll be,
We discuss what they eat for breakfast every morning.
I know. I'm just glad that they did the trade and that we know we're getting a quarterback, and that Kyle and John are thinking about what's going to happen post Jimmy, what they're deciding to do for the future of the team and stuff like that. I think that shows above anything that they care about the team, and that they're thinking of the future of the team as well as the present. And they got us in a good position where we'll be good in the present and that we can get ourselves set up for the future. So I don't know. I'm just appreciative of that after those few years, in 2015 and 2016 and stuff like that, and how rough those years were.
They're rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think we covered everything up that I had planned out for.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in this time next week, 3:00 next week, on Tuesdays. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Also, search 904 Radio wherever you get your podcast, because this will be a podcast audio on any podcast app you listen to podcasts. So subscribe to those too. Apple, Stitcher, wherever. I'm sure you can find it. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Well,